Hey, what's going on, guys? Yesterday I got an email from Ammus Ammo asking me to help him with his one-line scraper that he's created using SCRAPY Shell, probably by following one of my previous tutorials that did regard to creating one-line scrapers using Python SCRAPY Shell. And I really appreciate Ammus for following this sort of a pattern, even though it might look a bit weird, but still it's quite pretty interesting and challenging. So here is the line of code scraping data from, just grab this first, okay, so just copy it, grabs the data from this sort of a site, and let's invoke the SCRAPY shell and see how it works actually. Well, to be honest, it won't really work just right from scratch, because it's more like my fault rather than Ammus's fault, and let me just show you why. You know, like I did show you guys to put the fetch method after the reference in the response object to extract our data, but that works only if we did make some fetching some HTTP request initially, but if it didn't, it doesn't seem to work. So in order to fix this sort of an issue, I just need to put this fetch method as the first argument here. So now I just can again kind of grab this entire stuff from here, the link, and paste, and now it would actually crawl, but it doesn't yet get anything in response, and that's because here is a little typo in providing the class, this initial class, to loop through all the cards on the target site. So if we just fix this as well, we now have the list of our products. And now that the what actually Ammus wants, he wants to store all this data as the CSV file. So let's actually go for this. But you know, like before that, I would like to mention one more little thing here. So at the very end, I would like to add a new feature to this one-line scraper, so it would be able to crawl through up to 3 pages. And in order to do this, I just want to show you one more little thing here. So let's have some sort of a convention of enclosing this fetch method followed by the response object reference, and to extract the data within the parentheses instead of square brackets. And you know, like from the Python programming perspective, the difference is that the square brackets are providing the list, where the first element is the fetch method's response object, followed by data extraction logic. And if we just enclose this within the parentheses, we would create the type of tuple. So it doesn't really matter from the perspective of joining the request and response in one line, but it does matter in terms of readability. So when we would be adding some new logic on crawling the pagination, it would be more readable to use this parenthesis instead of square brackets, because otherwise we would be overwhelmed by the amount of the square brackets, especially if we would dare to crawl through the links recursively like I did in one of my previous one-line scraper tutorials. So please feel free to check out the obfuscated Python scraping playlist on CodeMacakin's channel to check that out. So I just want to run this one more time to show you that it works literally the same. So from now on, we can implement the logic of storing this stuff to CSV. So first we actually need to import the CSV, and semicolons followed by the space, just to keep the one line just to keep it a one-line format here. And now right over in here, so we have this print statement, and instead of this we would be using the dictionary writer that regards to CSV. So and this dictionary writer would obtain the JSON object as an argument. So I just want to get rid from everything that doesn't regard to the JSON object, and here instead of print we would be using this write row method. But in order to be able to make use of this, we first need to create a writer itself. So in order to do this, I need to say CSV dot dictionary writer, okay, and the dictionary writer is the object that would be able to make this write row. And just at this moment we need to specify 2 arguments. So the first argument would be the file stream we're supposed to be writing our data to. So in order to do this, I say open. I'm not using this with open stuff, and I won't be closing the file stream at the very end of execution of this line, and it might not be generally a good practice, but assuming that we're working with the only single line of Python code, this is still it's pretty fine basically. So I mean, it's pretty acceptable. Okay, so let's store this to the file called geo.csv, and the second argument, we need to specify the field names in the format of list. So here we have the product, and then we have actually the URL, I guess, right? So URL, and also we have price, right? This is it. So, well, this should be literally enough. So I just hold my breath and try to run this stuff again. Okay, not writable. Oh, I'm sorry. That's because I just forgot to add what exactly we want to do with this file stream here. So we want to append to the file, because we're doing this within the loop. So every time we encounter a new entry, we want to write this entry to the output file. So now this should work actually. Okay, and now let me just minimize my browser and all this stuff. So here we got this geo.csv. Let me just kick this to make sure that I didn't really have this before. So I just run this again. Okay, now this geo.csv does appear. So if I just open this, let's see what we got in return. Okay, so we got our product, then the URL and the price. Perfect. But I can see some improvements to this code still. So you see, like, the URL seems to be the type of list, while it would be better to have this in the type of a string. So let's try to find out why exactly this is happening actually. So here, okay, so I already can see this. So you see, like, here where he is trying to extract the URL, he uses this sort of a get all method. So we can simply say, like, join, and closing parenthesis would be after the get all, because just to bear in mind that the get all method returns the type of list, and joining this list would give us a conversion to string. So if I just run this again, okay, so I just need to reload this stuff currently. So yeah, I'm sorry, this is a bit too slow, but still. So now this should be the type of, okay, it's still not. Oh, okay, so it just did append the data at the end of the file, because we're appending the data, right? So now we did change this URL to the type of string instead of a list. So this is nice. So now I would like simply just to kick this file, and let's delete this actually. And the very last thing to consider right over in here would be to add the feature of pagination. So if I just scroll down a bit and say, let's go to the page number 2. Okay, so we got this page and numbers. So let's just check this out if we can reference the page number 1. Okay, we can. So this would be the appropriate format for our link in order to handle the pagination. So, and now you will basically understand why in particular making use of this parenthesis instead of square brackets really starts making some sense. So here, actually, let me just change this URL to this one. Apart from, we're not gonna use this one, but we will use stringify page. And now we need to create this page variable. And in order to create this page variable, so here and here, making another list. So this would be the list comprehension. So I would like to say for page in range from 1, and we have up to 3 pages here, right? So let me quickly check this out. Okay, up to 3 pages. So from 1 to 4, this would give us exactly 3 pages to crawl here. Okay, so I guess now it's time to hold my breath and try and run this. So okay, let's go. So scrolling first page, second page, and the third page, and he was writing the file all along the way, and here is our output file. So let's have a look. Okay, and now we're supposed to have kind of more data. Okay, perfect. So we did scrape data from up to 3 pages, and I consider this to be really fantastic. So again, like, many thanks to Ammus Ammo for providing this kind of fantastic idea for the video, because I really like that you guys started making this one-line scrapers. And just to summarize what has been done here, so just specify your fetch method before referencing the response object. This is the better way of doing things. Also enclose the pair of fetch method followed by the data extraction logic within the parentheses instead of the square brackets, just for the readability. And yeah, you see, like, when we're crawling through the range of pages, it starts making really some sense. So imagine like exactly the same line, but instead of this parenthesis we would have the square brackets. It's not that readable enough to understand what's going on within this code, and the one-line format is obfuscated enough itself, so making this distinguishing seems to make a great sense, basically. So this is it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something interesting out of this. So until next time, and take care.